And we are live. We're just chilling. I'm just dancing. Dolphin's got more muscles than I do, so way to show off the gun show. Do you have a license for those things? Ah. But hello,
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
with our new artwork, I got to start matching the artwork. You know what I mean?
I cannot wait to start using that. It's going to be great. For those of you that are wondering what we're talking about, you're going to have to wait until the new year to find out. But anyways. Hello to all you beautiful Bi-Conic wrestling nerds out there, and welcome to another edition of the Cleanup Crew review for this week's AEW Rampage, taking place Friday, December 22nd, 2023. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and joined with me always is my better half, Adolfo. He's my work husband here on the Bi-Conics for Rampage.
What's up, boo?
What's up?
Listen, I want to start. I'm going off script. All right. And I want to start this episode of Rampage actually going back to something that happened on Dynamite. And number one, Kenny Omega, all of us here at the Bi-Conics, we hope and wish you a speedy recovery because you are dealing with a very rough sickness. Also, CJ Perry, we wish you a speedy recovery. We hope that you are both home for the holidays and not sitting in a hospital. But speedy recovery to the two of you. And I do want to just give a shout out to Chris Jericho because we do give him a lot of
Flack.
We do give him a lot of flack here on the Bi-Conics. But Chris Jericho is a really stand-up guy, and I personally think for him coming out and doing that promo was a real stand-up thing, and I applaud Chris Jericho for doing that. And will it make me like the Golden Jets more? I don't think so. Will it make me not want to vomit in my mouth every time I hear the Golden Jets? Yes. So, but in all seriousness, props to you, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega and CJ Perry. We hope that you all heal quickly so we can see you back in the squared circle sometime soon. All right, let's do it.
Let's do this. I echo what Adolfo has said, and I would like to yell at our other co-host, Jesse. He sent the more disturbing picture of CJ's finger, and now I can never unsee it. So thanks a lot, Jesse. Love you. But as I mentioned... Yeah,
it looked like a salsicha.
So bad. I cannot unsee that, and that was I sent the tame picture, and then Jesse decided to go full throttle. So we're gonna leave that there because we had, in my opinion, this was a fun Rampage.
It was
the first half and the third half. The middle kind of
but we'll get there. But yeah, it was another week of entertaining and enjoyable Rampage. Like I had said to Mikey in our private pre-show, it seems like they are continuing the tradition of putting the goofy, silly stuff on Rampage, which is fine with us because it was entertaining. So go ahead, Mikey. Let's start with the first match.
Oh, okay, sure, fine. No, just kidding. So we opened up Rampage this week with an AEW International Championship match. We have Orange Cassidy defending his title against a one Rocky Azúcar Romero.
Azúcar! Yeah. How about that? Orange Cassidy, I think this is the third or fourth Rampage in a row that he starts the show.
Again, the International Championship is Orange Cassidy's belt. He is the best champion. Yep. With this and just having this be the work title for AEW is really fun, and anytime Cassidy is great. Also, it made me really happy. I love seeing anytime Rocky Romero's in the ring. I'm always going to be a fan of it. Of course, Rocky Romero is coming off of his lost his belt in CMLL over the week, so he no longer has his title. And I have to say, this was a really fun match.
It was a good match.
This came close to being my match of the night, but then I had to weigh my options. It was just but this Rocky Romero, I was just like, man, no, he is so good in the ring.
Yeah, and he was a very good counterpart to Orange Cassidy. They both sold each other's moves really well. They both matched each other's energy really well. The weird thing to me in this match was that we had Chris Jericho at the announcer's table along with Shivani and
Excalibur.
Excalibur. Thank you. And they did a great commentary job. However, for whatever reason, Trent Beretta was at ringside with Orange Cassidy, and they kept working up the whole, is Trent Beretta gonna betray Orange Cassidy because he used to be a tag team partner of Rocky Romero's and blah, blah. It felt silly to me because Trent was just standing there. He wasn't he was cheering on Orange Cassidy when he had the opportunity, but yeah, he was a non-factor. So I just found it funny that the announcers clung on that to add the dramatic tension to the match.
I think what was also weird too is commentary pointed out that towards the tail end of this match, Rocky Romero used one of Trent Beretta's moves, and I love that the camera panned to Trent and Trent did the meme face bruh, really?
Right. Yup.
I really enjoyed.
That was funny.
It was funny, but then I was just like, okay, are we gonna tease tension here? And then they all hugged at the end. I was like,
yeah. Gave the crowd what they wanted. But Orange Cassidy, he picked up the 1, 2, 3. Oh, did you notice that crowd? The first 2 rows, every time there was a 2, all of them had the 2s, and they held them.
It was so beautiful.
That was good.
They also made a reappearance during Collision tonight.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
a lot of wrestling. So good.
Props to the San Antonio crowd for that. I give you all applause. But yes, Orange Cassidy, he picked up the W on this. It was very entertaining and got me ready for the rest of Rampage, which led us to our next match or spot.
So really quickly, I do want to point out, because I think it's important, especially during the holiday season, we get a quick recap of AEW partnering up with the Jazz Foundation for Toys for Tots. So we got to see a little snippet of them passing out toys to all the children in San Antonio, the Texas area.
And over 1 million toys handed out.
I love to see it. Listen, we may bash Tony Khan's booking style and all that stuff and how he books his wrestlers, but I will never bash a company when they do good with charity work, especially if those charities tend to help underprivileged children. As one such child who grew up not in the wealthiest of parts of the world in America, I always appreciated charities helping us out when I was younger. So I could never fault them for that, which then led into a really interesting segment. So Tony Schiavone is in the back with Kris Statlander, and Tony kind of recaps okay, so Kris, you had this street fight last week on Collision, and it was awesome, but it seemed that you and Willow had some miscommunication. And then Kris, listen, it happened. We weren't on the same page, but we got there by the end. I have no hard feelings towards Willow, then good. And then instigator number 1 coming from the other side, Stokeley Hathaway, which I love seeing back on my television screen. He basically insinuates and he tells Kris, that's not what I heard. Willow's been telling everybody. Exactly, that's not what I heard. Willow's been telling everyone in the locker room that she carried you to this match. And Kris is like, oh, really? She doesn't believe it. And I love that Stokeley was like, listen here, Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen.
I was just
it's not even my name.
But essentially, Stokeley wants her to basically find an edge. You can't be everyone's best. You can't be everyone's friend in the locker room. And if you want to just hang out with best friends for the rest of your career, go for it. But you can do so much more. He leaves, and then Kris Statlander turns to Tony Schiavone and says, did he just Kristen? I believe so.
Yeah.
It's not even my name.
It's not even my name.
I'm very interested to see where this goes, man.
Yeah, because he bashed that whole group. OC. What did he say about Danhausen? But
bitch ass
Danhausen.
I was only Stokeley can get away with that.
I was just waiting as soon as he said that for Danhausen to just appear on the side and just be like,
that'd be hilarious.
But yeah, that was very interesting. Very interesting promo. I hope it is the start of something a little bit more, because it does bear a callback to an issue that has been going on with Kris Statlander and Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue, even though Sky Blue has now joined forces with Julia Hart. But for a little while there, we did see that intense Willow Nightingale, who was not partnering as much with Kris Statlander. So it would be nice if we did throw back a little bit to get a little bit of closure or continuation with that storyline. So we'll see what happens. I hope it's the start of something good.
Speaking of starting off with something good, we go into our next match stage segment, which is just a promo with Nana and Brian Cage. The whole entire time, I was just like, I'm staring at Brian Cage.
The Vanilla Gorilla, you mean?
Yes, I was just like, oh my gosh. Listen, Brian Cage will forever be my favorite because he just rolls with it and he has a good. Brian Cage looks like he's having fun, and that's what I want.
I love Brian Cage. Oh man, I love Brian Cage.
I have my babies. What?
I would have his babies. Anyway.
Well, honest too, because like half of the promo he was bouncing the pecs. I was just like, stop.
I know.
Let me look at this.
I know, and let me tell you, I know that Deadpool 3 has finished shooting or whatever the hell, but like when Brian Cage made the mention of being Wolverine, I like blinked and I was like, oh my god. He would be, I believe Brian Cage would be like the most comic book accurate looking Wolverine that they would put on the silver screen. So if that happened, I wouldn't be mad. Having said that, yeah, it was a funny spot. I didn't mind it. I felt it did add to the night a little bit. It precursored the match that was coming on Collision between Brian Cage and Keith Lee. But yeah, it was good. It was the way I like those kind of spots. Short, entertaining, concise. Off we go.
Here we go. Okay, we got to talk about this next one. So this is our tag team match of the night. Yeah, this is our tag team match of the Hardys versus the Kingdom. This match went on a lot longer than I thought it was going to. We went through 1.5 commercial breaks.
Yeah. The most entertaining part of this match was when the Kingdom the Kingdom came in with Roddy Strong, and Roddy Strong was going out to people. What's your name? You're stupid. I thought that was entertaining. The match itself was meh. I've said this before. I'm gonna say it again. I worry about the Hardys. Jeff was looking stiff every time he was trying to walk somewhere, and then Matt was holding on to the ring apron and the edge of the ring. Something was up. Like I worry that he's like back on the painkillers or whatever it was that he had to go to rehab for. Because even coming out, he didn't look like he was in San Antonio, if you catch my drift. The match itself was just very lackluster. It did have some good spots, but overall it was just very lackluster. And the ending, the surprise roll-up pin, the most electrifying move in all of sports entertainment. The surprise roll-up pin that what's his face got. That was just like, yeah, that Mike Bennett guy. I was just like, really? That's how we're gonna end this? Okay, fine, it's done. We're good. Let's move on.
Sure, why not? So I echo what you said, Adolfo. Like the Hardys like roughing this match a little bit. This wasn't their worst match. Worst, but
yes.
I don't know, man. I don't know what we're doing for the Hardys. Like I was super excited when Jeff came over, and I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then Jeff got in trouble, and led to Matt not being on TV. It also meant that brother Zay, didn't end up on TV for a bit.
Yeah, yep.
That was really bad. And then I said this on multiple occasions across any AEW review that I've done, but right now it's just like what the Kingdom is just spinning their wheels with Roddy because they were involved with the MJF storyline. They still are because Roddy is still telling everyone who thinks MJF is the devil.
We still haven't gotten any resolution with that, right?
No, okay. So let me fill you in if you didn't watch Dynamite. So Samoa Joe called out MJF as the devil. MJF came out and argued that he wasn't. An actual devil appeared on the screen with the minions surrounding the ring. So Samoa Joe and MJF are going to be defending the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships next week on Dynamite against the devil and his lackeys. So I was just like,
wait, I thought this already happened.
no.
Am I living like a Groundhog Day thing? I thought this happened 2 weeks ago.
No, it did not. We got it again this past week on Dynamite. So we're getting a Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite. It is a whole mess. Check out the review for it because I said some not so nice things about it, and Spicy Mikey was in full effect there. This match didn't make me bring out Spicy Mikey, but I was so disappointed. I was just like,
Yeah.
Kingdom and Roddy Strong, because there's so many people involved. Like Samoa Joe and MJF are dealing with the Devil's minions. Like Hangman Page was involved, and then he got taken out of the storyline. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass were a part of it, and then thank God they moved them away from. There's just too many people involved in this.
Yeah.
Listen, if they don't pull the trigger at World's End with the Devil reveal, I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, especially with the Kingdom now that they have been on TV a lot more often. I feel like in the recent month or so than like all summer. So let's shit or get off the pot with the Kingdom. I would much rather them be like, haha, we are the Devils, and then like win the ROH Tag Team Championship.
Please
and then
bring the Kingdom and the titles back to Ring of Honor. They need
right?
it.
And then they can defend the ROH champions and leave MJF and Samoa Joe to do their thing. But yeah, we'll see what happens to that. Mikey, you muted yourself. There you
I
go.
just realized that. That was funny. Once again, spinning the wheels of the Kingdom. Parties are looking rough. This then leads into our backstage segment where we get Ruby being interviewed about her and what's happening with her and Saraya. Ruby doesn't get really much of a chance to answer because then Cool Hand Angelo Parker.
Cool Hand Ange
I was
comes
excited. And then they were both interrupted. This tender, Christmassy moment was ruined by Saraya. But at first I was like, Saraya, look, I want to apologize. I'm sorry. This is actually really good for you. You are my friend and I should be supportive. I was just like, yes, I love good character development. So I was like, yes, let Ruby be happy. And then Saraya's, I got cool Christmas gifts for you. And then
Yeah. Renee, Ruby, go over there.
And so I was like, ooh, cool. And then Angela Cool Hand was just like, hey, it really means a lot that you're there. And as soon as that happens, Saraya turns around, listen here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I was just like, okay, this is interesting. But then the next things that came out of Saraya's mouth made me go, really? Man.
Yeah, it was
literally
a missed opportunity.
Saraya basically says, it's like, she's my friend. You don't come to this. I was like, again, with the stalker storyline, there's way too many of them right now going on.
Way
AEW.
too many of them. Yep. Let me tell you, watching this segment, I was really hoping that they would just let it play out, because I think it would be really cool and interesting to have a love torn like storyline, like maybe a Romeo and Juliet thing with Cool Hand Ange and Ruby Soho, put them together as a couple. And hell, like if we have Toni Storm like leaning into that dramatic cheese, which she's killing it doing that, let them lean into some like telenovela like love story nonsense. Let's get some like mixed tag. Let me do this again. So yeah, let them lean into some telenovela love story stuff, and let's start getting like some mixed tag matches out there. I would find that a lot more interesting if they did some sort of like talent, like really cheesy like love story tag team thing, as opposed to another freaking stalker thing. And it'd be cool. You could really cheese it up where like Cool Hand, and when Cool Hand and Ruby come out, he can put like a towel down for her like when she walks over some stuff, and he can pull out he can pull out like roses to give to her, and hell, then like they could smack whoever they're wrestling with the roses or some nonsense like that. But it's just, yeah, I would like to see that as opposed to just another crazed stalker person thing.
It just makes me worried because I know Saraya has been, and I don't think it's Saraya's fault. I feel that because she's very limited to what she can do. It's not wrestling for 5-6 years because of major injury, and then here to do. Honestly, I think just the women's division in general in AEW has been all over the map in 2023. That's because we had a lot of things happen. Thunder held the title, and then she had to give it up. And Jamie Hayter became the champion, and then she got injured. She had to give it up. Tony had her first run, but then got taken off quickly. Then she got it back. It's just been a whole plethora. Saraya won it in London, only to lose it a couple weeks later. Yeah. It's been a really weird season, and here's hoping that in 2024, trepidatious about it, but I'm hoping that this doesn't stay the way it is. I want Saraya to evolve this, and who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. At least Ruby's getting something to do with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a little bit more.
Okay. So we're moving on from that.
We're moving on.
We get into our semi-main event. This is a women's match where we see Sky Blue taking on a Rampage debut of Queen Aminata. Listen, Queen, a new favorite person, like within the first 2 minutes of this match, I was like, let's go.
Yes. Yep. They got at it. I was very impressed. I like it. Queen Aminata, right? Yeah. She, a lot of power, great movement. She was tossing Sky Blue around for a little bit there. And I know that Sky Blue got the 1-2-3, but yeah, like, I want to see more of Queen Aminata.
I thought this match was really good from both women. Queen definitely dominated the first half of the match, but then Sky then had a counter for everything that she had. I was like, please give me more. This is great.
I am very happy that we got no interruption from Julia Hart causing Sky Blue to get the 1-2-3, and also that there was no underhanded ink blowing in the face of or nonsense like that on the part of Sky Blue that caused her to get the 1-2-3. She got a clean 1-2-3, which was nice. And I feel it's refreshing to see just overall on these wrestling shows, because so often, especially with the heels, we see the 1-2-3 coming because of interference or some underhanded means, which, I mean, heels are heels. That's okay. Yes, that's part of their shtick. But seeing him get the clean 1-2-3 to remind us, oh yeah, they are good wrestlers. I feel that's important too. And that happened tonight. And not only did it make Sky Blue look good, but it also made Queen look good. And I want to see more of her on my TV. I hope I see more of her on my TV.
I do too. Sky does pick up the win, as you said, but Queen looked really well in this match, and this ruled. At this point, I looked at my television timer and I was just like, 15-17 minutes left, and then I was like, what's left again? And then when we come back from commercial, we didn't waste no time. We go into our main event for this week's Rampage for the Triple A or Triple A Mega Championship. This is Black Taurus versus the champion El Hijo del Vikingo. Listen, this is the second week in a row that Lucha Libre has main evented Rampage, and we both said it last week that if this is where all the Lucha Libre action happens, I'm here for it.
Man dressed as a Viking wrestled a man wearing a bull mask throughout the match, looking like the Greek Minotaur from the Greek fables. It was just off of that theatricality, just off of that match was fantastic. You had me at that match. If you don't watch Rampage, okay, fine. Go back, find this match, watch this match, and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. To quote CM Punk, tell me I'm telling lies, because this match was a fucking banger. Banger. Because then these two decide to be like, oh hey, we're gonna show people that we're actually good wrestlers, and then they start doing like all this fantastic movement. Like the camera could not keep up with the two wrestlers. I don't know if you noticed that, Mikey, but the camera kept going from like camera 1 to camera 2, camera 3, camera 2, camera 1, like just so they could pick up every little nuance that these two wrestlers were doing, and it was beautiful. It was so good. So good.
So, I really enjoyed this match. I will say I like this match a lot, but I will say that this isn't... Now, I want to preface by saying this. I liked it, but I loved their previous encounter a few days ago because I got spoiled because as part of the Ring of Honor crew, they also had this match during the Final Battle pay-per-view. Right. That match went on longer and they did more crazier stuff over there. But man, Vikingo's just wrestling. He's Will Ospreay. He's wrestling anywhere, everywhere, and it seems like he's wrestling all the time. Yep. Like they're fighting everyone. Like all Vikingo's about to be hopping over to TNA for their Hard to Kill pay-per-view in a couple weeks in a triple threat, which by the way, that match is going to be great. And I've already known, and I've gotten to see Black Taurus in Impact Wrestling a lot because that's where he was for a little bit. But this match is crazy. And also, this is a weird thing that I picked up, but I loved it. Whoever is the prosthetics person who made Black Taurus's mask, that was not just a regular bull mask that you sit on the head. That thing moved, and it was actual bull head attached. Like prosthetics people, yes, you get credit for me. Because I know how hard that is to make prosthetics really work very well. Yeah. This match was high flying. It was exciting. There was dangerous stuff all over. Mm-hmm. My favorite move is when Vikingo picked up this big old Minotaur and slammed him to the floor. I was just like, that is not easy to do. That's 280 pounds of meat right there. And Vikingo's not, he's athletic, but he's tiny.
Yes. Yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah, so to see him pick up that piece of man meat, Black Taurus, that was impressive. I have to say my favorite spot of the match though was when they were up on the top turnbuckle and Black Taurus got that. Wait, was it Black Taurus? I don't know. There was a toss that happened off the top turnbuckle, and it was just from setup to execution. It was just fantastic.
Just watching Vikingo go flying.
Yeah. It was so good. And yeah, to reiterate what you said, Mikey, be it a mask or a prosthetic or a mask prosthetic, whoever came up with that for Black Taurus, just fantastico. It's just good. It's good.
It was
bueno,
really
se bueno.
And of course, Vikingo picks up the victory here. He is still your triple A mega champion, so he's going to be holding on to that thing. He's held on to that thing. I think they said for 400 and some odd days now, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I know.
And we talked about this last week. He's good, and he's only 26. We talked about this last week too. I was like, he's only 26.
Yeah, he's only 26.
Still a baby.
Yeah, for him to drop it, I hope if he ends up dropping that belt that it's not on an AEW show. I do hope that it's on a Lucha Libre show so it can get the full just matico that it so deserves, because like for Vikingo to drop that belt, it can't just be just your stereotypical, oh, I lost my belt, oh no, now I'm coming back after you. There has to be some sort of telenovela, fucking my uncle is my father type storyline till that gets drawn out with and bringing in like primos and all that nonsense for it to give it justice, to give it the gravitas that it deserves. But other than that, this match was great. Just another, Mikey, I am not going to be mad if they main event Luchadors on Rampage from now on, because this is like the second or third week again where they have Luchadors main eventing on Rampage, and we saw the banger that there was last week.
That trios match was so good.
That trios match, which even Jericho was saying was his match of the year. So, like, when you have Kris and Ocho, Chris Jericho saying that's the match of the year. Come on. Yeah, let's keep having the Luchadors main event, Rampage.
Again, exactly. Let's have Luchadors main event, Rampage. Rampage and Ring of Honor is a good place to be if you are a luchador, because you pick up wins there. You always have great matches. And over on Ring of Honor this past week, we had an amazing Lucha Libre style match too, because El Gringo Loco and Drac Cartwheel versus Commander and Vikingo too was out here putting in the work, man. It was, I loved it. We have come to the end of this Rampage, so the last thing we got to do is we got to rate this out of 5 empanadas. So this is the important part.
So I'm gonna give it a. I don't like giving half empanadas or a quarter empanadas, because you either eat the whole empanada or you don't. That's the way I was raised. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna give this episode 3 empanadas. Just because that middle tag match and that Ruby Soho Soraya spot really took the wind out of the sail for a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna give it 3 ham and cheese empanadas. Still good. I'll eat them, and they make it warm and fuzzy in my. It's not the sacred tiburon empanada that I've been searching for. Which that's a story for another time. But go ahead, Mikey.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Oh my goodness. No, I agree with you. I think this is a good, solid 3 out of 5 empanada show. I think the beginning and the ending, like the last 2 matches and the opening match, were definitely awesome to watch. They were really good. But when we got to the Hardys and the Kingdom, as well as that weird Ruby, Cool Hand Ange, and Soraya backstage promo, things went off the rails a little bit, and I'm a little worried for everybody involved in those 2 segments for different reasons.
Yep.
The wrestling, again, is always usually pretty solid, minus the tag team match.
Again, even in that tag team match, there was some good wrestling in that. It wasn't.
I just don't know what we're doing with either team.
Right, and it wasn't consistent. So.
Agreed. So 3 out of 5, we both agree on that. So that does bring us to the end of this week's cleanup crew. And Adolfo, we only have one more Rampage before the end of 2023.
And before end of the world. Yeah.
Something tells me they're gonna put everything on Friday, because I was just like, oh gosh, we gotta do Collision 2 because the World's End is on Saturday next week.
The World's End is on Saturday. Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. I hope they don't, because that is a lot of wrestling to get through.
That is very fair. And for the AEW boys, which includes myself as their tech person, we have a busy weekend next week. Yep. But that is going to be future us's problem, because current us are going to be signing off now. So
that's right.
Yep. So if you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit the bell notification, subscribe to the Bi-Conics YouTube channel, where you can check out other reviews, as well as pay-per-view reviews and our Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast video cast episodes, which is a lot of fun, which is a hoot. You can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod to get notifications on when the videos go live, to catch up with some clips from the reviews, as well as some fun stuff. I uploaded a meme not too long ago, and I'm telling you, Stewie Griffin is going to be working wonders for us. We'll just leave it at that. So good.
Yep.
But then, of course, you can check us out by subscribing to your favorite podcasting network, whatever. We're literally everywhere, so we're pretty much all over the place, where you can subscribe to the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast to not only catch our audio versions of our video episodes for the Bi-Conics, but starting in 2024, you're going to want to make sure that you subscribe, because we got some new stuff that is going to be coming your way very soon. I haven't told the boys yet either, but they're going to find out eventually. Yeah, so breaking news, new stuff is happening. So I'm going to fill in Adolfo of what that is going to entail off camera. But the rest of you are going to have to tune into the new year to find out what that all is. So thank you so much for tuning into this review. From myself and Adolfo and the rest of the Bi-Conics boys, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, stay Bi-Conic, you beautiful bastards. But until the next review, we'll see you later. Tough for
Happy
now.
holidays, Merry Christmas, everybody.